Isaiah Simmons arrived at high school with the nickname Isaiah Slimmons because he was tall as hell at 6'4" already, but light in the behind at 140 pounds. He got swole though. As a senior at Olathe North, he weighed 205 pounds and ended up playing both ways. He recorded 29 catches for 994 yards and 13 touchdowns, made All-State as a safety and a receiver. As a Butkus Award winner, he was the unquestioned leader, and still is, of Brent Venables Tenacious D. At 6'4", 230 pounds, and the prototype of a modern space linebacker. Dabo Swinney was right when he said Simmons could make All-America at 4 different positions. After all, he possesses the explosiveness of an edge rusher, the instincts of a middle linebacker, the ball skills of a corner, and the intellect of a safety. The redshirt junior is duct tape to every defensive problem Clemson faces. If it's still broken, you ain't using him enough. What I'm saying is, Brent Venables' traditional 4-3 scheme can become a 4-2-5, 3-3-5, or 3-2-6, depending entirely on where Simmons lines up. The scheme gives a conservative look to a quarterback, but allows the middle safety, Simmons, to mirror the ball carrier and get clean, unblocked lanes to tackle him, not unlike the scheme at Oklahoma that Tony Jefferson thrived in. Create a funnel and let the tackling machine go to work. And that's before you think about Simmons and what he can do to ruin your pass protections off of blitz. Venables had 17 blitz plays off a 3-man front alone in his playbook 3 years ago. One coach told it this way to ESPN after Simmons destroyed his offensive game plan. You can't really work around him because he's everywhere. It felt like he was playing defensive line, linebacker, and safety all in the same play. He's a problem. He wrecks any matchups you think you might be able to create. He chews up space in like 2 strides. Matter of fact, in a foot race, Simmons damn near beat perhaps the best tailback Clemson has ever produced, and Travis Etienne, even though Simmons was 20 pounds heavier. But Swinney didn't think so in the beginning. Didn't think he was going to be that good. He was projected to play wideout by a bunch of Big Ten programs, but Swinney said it plainly. He ain't a receiver, and they would have moved him real quick. Simmons ranked 451st overall and just 25th among safeties in the industry-generated 24/7 Sports composite ranking. Try saying that 3 times fast. Swinney told The Athletic he didn't even know who Simmons was until a week prior to his signing day. Venables wasn't even going to offer Simmons until he took a fortuitous trip to Kansas to see him up close. He recounted the story in detail to Clemson's 247 site, saying he literally wrapped his arms around the kiddo and hugged him as tight as he could. He was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I showed up to Olathe because he really didn't know how good he was. When he saw Simmons in the hallway, he saw just a big athlete that had good ball skills, that played mostly receiver. Clemson was desperate for a safety, though, after having more players declare for the NFL than Venables thought would actually do so. Venables asked, Simmons about Kansas and Kansas State because his brother had played at Kansas. So there was a little bit of recruiting there to be done, but Kansas State hadn't really recruited Isaiah Simmons. As a Kansas State alum, Venables said he was kind of mad about that, but he was really happy that it looked like Simmons was going to leave the general area to go to college, so he thought they might stand a chance of landing him. Now you have to remember, Simmons was rated so lowly because he didn't attend combines or camps, so recruiting analysts couldn't shout about what they hadn't seen measured against the best players in his class, which I think is more than fair. But Venables said what you can't put on a stopwatch is just how hard, Simmons plays. His endurance is like nothing Venables has ever been around. That's his best attribute. He works so hard. And now Simmons is projected as a top 10 pick by lots of NFL draft analysts in the coming 2020 class and has a chance to lead his program to consecutive 15-0 seasons, after going 29-0 to this point. Isaiah Simmons is just one man, but LSU is going to have its hands full with Clemson's mega man. And I get it. LSU's offense has been unstoppable this season, but most people will tell you, myself included, Oklahoma wasn't really a challenge for them. Georgia was, and they dispatched Georgia. Florida was. They dispatched Florida. Alabama was, and they played them to within 5. Against Clemson, though, we're talking about a defense that has given up just 23 points as the total number of points allowed in a game. And that was to Ohio State, team that was one of the best that we've ever seen, quite frankly. Now, Ohio State would tell you they put up 516 yards of offense, that they had a 178-yard rusher in J.K. Dobbins. They had a 300-yard passer in Justin Fields, who threw 2 picks, but play calling aside, drop screens aside from J.K. Dobbins, they were the better team, except for one trait. Ohio State went 59-64 in red zone attempts this season. That's 92% before they faced Clemson. Against Clemson, they were 0-3 with an interception in the end zone to seal the 29-23 victory for the Clemson Tigers. Perhaps it'll be Clemson yelling Tiger bait at LSU by night's end on January 13th. All right, that's it for me. Doses.